Welcome to the October edition of Breakaway Rail Talk, presented by TOBA. I'm Joe Bianca. I'm an ownership advisor at West Point Thoroughbreds, and this is the show where we talk to the TOBA Member of the Month. Some of the most fascinating people in the world become owners and breeders in thoroughbred horse racing, and every month we talk to one of them and get to know their story and their background, and it's always a fun chat. And my buddy Jon Green here, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your chat with Murray Valene.
Jonathan Green, general manager of DJ Stable. Joe, it was really exciting and interesting to talk to Murray Valene because he and his dad, who was 101 when he passed away, have been in the business since the 70s, since the 1970s. And they've been very active in both Minnesota, their home state, as well as Louisiana, their adopted state. And the amazing thing about it is that Murray and his family have run 4 horses in the Breeders' Cup, and 3 of them have finished in the top 4. So when he brings a horse over there, which is what he's fixing to do with Smoken Wicked in the Breeders' Cup sprint, he's there for business. And Murray's just a really good guy, really interesting entrepreneur, and we'll let you make the decisions on just how much you want to root for Murray Valene of Valene Racing and his top horse, Smoken Wicked. And Joe, you'll be happy to hear that TOBA is offering and hosting a pedigree and confirmation clinic at Fasig-Tipton on Monday, October 20th, at our friends at Fasig-Tipton. And it's during the Kentucky October yearling sale. But listen to this group of speakers and presenters that they have. You're going to hold on to your socks because they're going to get blown off. The topics and speakers include pedigrees, confirmation, horse selection by none other than Jacob West of Claiborne Farm. Purchasing at public auction presented by Jeffrey Bloom of Bloom Racing. The role of the auction house and the auction process by our good friend and friend of the show, Anna Seitz. Yearling prep for sales by my friend and yours, Francis Van Landendonk of Summerfield Sales Agency. Equine nutrition by Anthony Coach. The role of a veterinarian at public auctions by my friend Dr. Jeffrey Burke. Genetics and nicking presented by Byron Rogers, formerly of TaylorMade Sales. And equine and pedigree resources presented by Tim Leith of the Jockey Club. The clinic is open to the public with a special discount for TOBA members. Meals, material, and a gift bag will be included in registration. For more information, you can go on to toba.org, or you can look at or just type into your browser TOBA Seminar Clinic Fasig-Tipton, October 20th. Any of those things will pop up immediately. The confirmation and pedigree clinic at Fasig-Tipton on October 20th. So, Joe, if you have any questions about the clinics or the seminars, I would highly recommend that you reach out to Brooke Purcell at Brooke, that's BROOKE, at toba.org, or give her a call, 859-899-8480. The number's right here. Julie will put the number and the contact information for Brooke in case you have any questions about the TOBA clinics, this one in particular, or any of them that they have upcoming in the months ahead. The TOBA Member of the Month for the month of October is Murray Valene. Murray has a number of horses in the Crescent State of Louisiana, and was kind enough to spend a couple of minutes with me today to talk about his journey into the industry and how long it's progressed. Murray, thank you so much for coming aboard with me.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you.
So recently, you had one of your best horses, Smoken Wicked, who not only won a number of stake races, Louisiana-bred stake races, but also open stake races as well. Most recently, the Harrods Creek at Churchill Downs. What was that feeling like, having a Louisiana-bred run up against the best sprinters in the country?
Well, I've always sort of prided myself into sticking with Louisiana-breds and very involved in the breeding programs here. And then taking them to Saratoga from New Orleans as 2-year-olds, and been very successful. We've won great stake races, and as we won in Amsterdam with Smoken Wicked.
Yeah.
And that was a grade too. And won maybe 4 or 5 graded stake races in Saratoga with Louisiana breds.
Right. Right, and this horse in particular, Smoken Wicked, has made over $700,000, which is phenomenal by any measure. Is the next spot for him going to be the Perryville at Keeneland, or have you and Dallas Stewart talked about it yet?
Well, we've talked about it. He's going to the Breeders' Cup.
Fantastic. Okay, so the Breeders' Cup, which division, the sprint or the mile?
The sprint.
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. And what made you guys make that decision? Because I think you probably could have qualified for either division if you wanted to.
Well, he hits a wall at 7 furlongs, so six sort of hits him just right.
Right.
And so he's as a sprinter at 6 furlongs, he's one of the top sprinters probably around. So we'll give him a shot.
No, I think that's what the dreams are made of, is that when you have a horse that's running those kind of figures and beating up on the 3-year-olds in the division, that the next logical step is to go against the older horses. And you know, the nice thing about the horse Murray is that he comes prepared. Every time you run him 6 to 7 furlongs, he hits the board. You know, and he's run against some phenomenal sprinters in Chancer McPatrick and Colloquial and then, you know, others like that. What made you pick him out as a yearling? Because you bought him as a yearling for $38,000, which is a pretty modest sum in the grand scheme of things.
Well, he was prepped. I visited when I was being prepped as a yearling to get ready for the sale. And I went over to Clear Creek Stud, which I'm associated with, but that Clear Creek belongs to my partner, Val Miro. And he just saw this colt, and I fell in love with him. And I happened to be in Europe when the horse was bought. I told the guy, no matter what you do, go ahead and buy him, and you could spend whatever you want to spend. But Louisiana, through the sales, you always get a steal, hopefully, in something that can go on and move. And this was a true steal, I'll tell you.
Right, absolutely.
He was gorgeous as a baby. He was just handsome colt.
And do you find that your background as a polo player, you know, allows you to kind of see the athlete ahead of itself, like how the horse is going to develop? Did those two worlds collide and make it easier for you to see balance and athleticism?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I sort of had an eye for horses, and I've been relatively successful in picking out a horse. And every year I'm picking out either a champion Louisiana-bred horse or horses that can run anywhere in the country. And so I've been, I do have an eye for picking them out. And then I also have a bad eye too, which I don't want to talk about the bad horses, but the good horses I won't talk about, I guess.
Absolutely. We all have those stats, but the main thing is that when you do pick out a good one, it way outruns its conditions and its pedigree, and that's what we're really all in this business for. So much so that you are going to be running in the Breeders' Cup sprint this year, which is really exciting. And one of the other exciting things that I know we talked about, you know, previous to the interview, is the fact that you started the racing and breeding business with your dad. You know, named a horse after your dad, and your dad passed away at the ripe, tender age of 100 years old.
Close to 101. It's just,
wow.
That's about a few months. So.
Wow. Which we should all aspire to. But growing up and learning about business and working with your dad, give us a little background on what that was like.
Well, my father was a true entrepreneur and sort of followed in his footsteps. And my first day out of college, I went to work for our company in New Orleans in 1962. Mm-hmm. And then developed that, moved back to Minnesota, then moved to one of our other operations in Tennessee, and back and forth. But New Orleans was primarily home since 62.
Right. And then how did you and your dad start building the breeding and racing operation? Because at one point you had well over 100 horses.
Yes, at one time. Then I got smart.
So what was it? Was it equal division as far as division of labor and division of credit, or?
Well, we were racing in Minnesota also, and you know, with the old track in Canterbury Downs before it closed and then restarted. And so we used to send 20, 30 horses up there. I had horses in Chicago. had Chicago in Detroit
Right.
when racing was big in Detroit. You're going back in the early in the 70s, and so we've been racing around the country and a few in California, So then Louisiana, we always I had four trainers that worked for me exclusively.
Wow.
And then I had the farm operation that kept a bunch of horses. So anyhow, it's been, I don't have that many horses now, but I do have a nice little stable right now.
Yep. And are you hoping that every year you're going to buy a couple of Louisiana breds? Or are you going to open it up to Kentucky breds or other state breds as well? Or are you like running regionally?
Well, I'm here, so the fairgrounds is, that's right in New Orleans. I live 2 miles from the track, so and we have a farm operation in New Orleans. So, it's I may continue buying Louisiana breds, although I have bought a few. But you make more money with Louisiana breds. You have a great breeding program here. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can get a good mare and match them. You can breed in and out of the state.
Right.
And so you can get what stallions you want. You just have to have the right mares.
Right.
I'm not in the breeding part of it. I have one brood mare. All the rest of them I'm buying.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And then
right.
I remember you saying that you also have Accommodate Eva, who is in foal to Preakness winner Seize the Gray, that's going to sell in the November sale.
That's correct.
Okay, and
you did your homework.
You're an interesting character. I was very intrigued by reading about all the things that you've accomplished and done. A true entrepreneur. I guess my question is, why not keep that one versus selling it in the November sale?
I prefer not to be in the brood mare business necessarily.
Yeah, because it just takes so much longer before you know if you're right or
and I'm. Some of these horses are going to outlive me, so I have to. I less have to. I've had a lot of mares in the past. I'm just down to just a handful of, just actually probably two brood mares now. I will be keeping a few more this year, but it's long term, and my goal is short term. We'll get out there and win the Breeders' Cup, win the Derby. So I'll find a ways for the Derby.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I've had some Derby favorites in the past. Yeah, many years ago. And something always happens. They get hurt, something happens to them. So, right. But I've had some pre-Derby favorites.
Yeah. And that's really the dream for all of us is the Derby or the Breeders' Cup, and you've been able to live on both of those. And Dallas Stewart, your trainer, has had a number of horses in both of those series of races. Tell me a little bit about how you ended up with Dallas as a trainer and your thoughts on him.
Well, he's a local guy, Louisiana-bred, who actually is from Mississippi, but he grew up in New Orleans. And we've just been friends. And we have some great trainers that work out of here at Dallas, Tom Amos, and El Stahl. And there's, so anyhow, it's they've done extremely well. And Dallas has been more or less concentrated in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And, my thing is to go to, I love Saratoga.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get it. And I've had probably 10 horses go to Saratoga in the last 10 years that all broke the maidens there. All Louisiana-breds.
I see a pattern.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Right. Well, you can't go wrong with the feel and the nostalgia of whether it's a Fairgrounds or a Saratoga, or even a Keeneland in my estimation. So you're definitely showing up in all the right places and places that it sounds like are on a kind of a bucket list for you of wanting to race and win and stand in the winner's circle.
Yeah, and a lot of it's your attitude with racing too. A lot of people from down here may have a super horse and they're going to run regionally here, and my goal is just the whole world is out there, and can win. They can win anywhere. So, and I think we really have in the sprinting world. I think we have some of the best sprinters in the country coming out of Louisiana. They don't go out of state so much, but they do. We do have them here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and the proof plays out. I mean, you see the race times alone. Whether it's the fairgrounds or Evangeline Downs or some of the tracks in and around the southeast and the mid south. They breed good, solid sprinters there. I know when we're looking in the racing form and I see a horse coming in from one of those racetracks, I always take a double check, because even though their buyer numbers and maybe their sheet numbers don't necessarily compare to California or New York, I just think it's a bias. I think that you guys have some of the best sprinters, historically in the country.
Well, and they're bred that way. Still the quarter horse mentality in a sense. Right. And a lot of these trainers were quarter horse trainers, so. Yep. That's how they started off. As Baffert was too. So
yeah. Yep. Absolutely. No, there's definitely a reason. So let's play it forward. Okay. It's the first weekend of November and you're standing there in the paddock as Smoken Wicked is getting the rider legged up and they're about to hit the racetrack. What do you think is going through your mind at that time? Is it, thoughts of your dad? Is it thoughts of your history? Is it excitement of the race that's to come? What do you think is going to be going through your mind?
Well, my father's always on my mind. So he was a great guy. He loved it, and he loved the horses. So that's, probably more than I did at the time. He's passionate about the business and cared about the horses. And so I do think about him. And then just being at the Breeders' Cup is just a thrill by itself.
Yep.
The party before, and hopefully have a win. I run 3 times fourth in the Breeders' Cup. And which is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think it was 3 times. Yeah. And I've had four go to the Breeders' Cup, which is nice for Louisiana-breds. So they're all Louisiana-breds.
Yeah, no, that's a tremendous past performance to be able to bring horses there, be considered one of the top 10 or 12 sprinters in the world, really, if it's the Breeders' Cup, and to hit the board, finish fourth a number of times. I mean, that's quite a credit. When you bring horses out there, people should take notice.
Well, they do.
Well, good.
Especially at Saratoga.
But, it sounds like it. It really sounds like it. Well, Murray, I can't thank you enough for the time, and I know our viewers are going to be really excited to root for you and Smoken Wicked, and hopefully I'll be handing you the trophy out at the Breeders' Cup.
Well, I'm ready for that. And he can win it. He can do it. He's solid, a little bit racing luck, and our trainer is high on the horse. Jackie, who's been riding him, had a terrible accident. Brian Hernandez, and he probably won't be able to ride. I'm not sure. He's going to be out for a while.
Yeah.
So it'll be a new rider, but good horses make a jockey. Jockeys sometimes make a good horse too. But
yeah. Yep, absolutely. And I guess my last question to you would be, if Brian is unable to ride, have you and Dallas talked about it, or is it still too early?
Yeah, we've talked about it. We really haven't decided yet. There's he just has to get, in that kind of race, you just got to get out.
Yeah.
So you don't have much time to so you got to have someone to get him out of the gates. And Brian's been very good at it.
Absolutely.
And he understands the horse, but they can watch him. He's just if he put him in the right spot he's at the right time, he can do 108 and 2. He can run, so there's no question about it.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, I can't thank you enough. I look forward to seeing you out in California, and the next time there's a Louisiana-bred sale going on, I think I'm just going to stand next to you and maybe bid one more than you do, because you certainly have an eye for picking out good athletes.
Well, thank you.
And congratulations again on being named the TOBA Member of the Month.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the interview. It was nice. And to all the fans of Louisiana-breds, we're here.
Thanks for watching Breakaway Rail Talk. For more information on TOBA and the Member of the Month and joining TOBA, go to TOBA.org.